Today we are going to talk about YouTube's founders and what they did after they left YouTube. Karim was the guy you saw in the first video ever posted on YouTube years ago. It was the infamous Me at the Zoo video. Jawed received over 137,000 Google shares after the Google acquisition, which was worth hundreds and millions of dollars at the time. Jawed's Google shares were much lower than his fellow co-founders, the reason being he had a smaller role at YouTube as he was an unofficial employee at the company. He was kind of like an informal advisor of sorts. After leaving YouTube, he started a venture capitalist firm called Buy Ventures. He invested in startups like Reddit, Palantir, Eventbrite, and Airbnb. Not much is known about Jawed Karim's whereabouts. He keeps a very low profile. Sources claim he might be living in India. If hiding himself from the rest of the world was his main goal, then this man has his priorities straight. The only times we see Jawed's shadow is when he comes back onto YouTube whenever Google makes an oopsie. Jawed protested heavily against Google's removal of the dislike button from YouTube. The YouTube co-founder updated the description of his infamous Me at the Zoo video to include some words saying removing the dislikes was a stupid idea and asked YouTube to try again. The protest description on Jawed's video has since been removed. Then we have Chad Hurley. This guy was the first CEO of YouTube. While YouTube was still a tiny platform, Chad focused on video sharing and tags on YouTube. After the Google acquisition, he received 694,000 Google shares, worth $500 million at the time.
And Mixbit represents a way that we automate the editing process. There's a lot of photos and videos that people now have on their phones that they do nothing with. That trying to make sense of this content that people take on a daily basis is a big challenge.
After leaving YouTube, Chad refocused his efforts on a startup called Mixbit, which failed.
YouTube helped people share videos. Chad Hurley's latest venture helps people create them. Mixbit turns raw video and photographs into polished, finished pieces, making editing easy for everyone. A mix of art and technology that takes advantage of Hurley's background in design and computers. Still in the early stages, Hurley sees huge potential.
Oh, you want a selfie?
Yeah.
Since then, he's turned his passions to other investments, notably in sports. Chad Hurley is the part owner of NBA's Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Football Club. Later on, Chad launched a startup called Green Park Sports, which is supposed to be an app for sports fans. They can chat, customize avatars, buy virtual gear, and play games on the Green Park Sports app. It's a metaverse esports play, I guess. I'm not a sports fan, so I don't understand the appeal of all of this. Chad Hurley tends to do silly things a lot. He appeared in a YouTube video last year for silly reasons. A YouTuber called Max Fosh made a video where he was trying to get one of the YouTube's co-founders to subscribe to his channel. Chad answered the call and history was made. Max Fosh met Chad Hurley and got the silly Billy to subscribe in exchange for a Coca-Cola can signed by an artist called Damien Hirst. Our final YouTube founder is Steve Chen, the first ever CTO of YouTube. Steve Chen received 625,000 Google shares after YouTube's acquisition.
I think for a while there, so I left YouTube in about 2009, 2010, and probably for the first 12 months there was trying to figure out, because all throughout the 20s and even early 30s, was just working on startups, and it was always the kind of, there's no difference between Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, there's no difference between whatever, 9 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. And so I've been doing that for over a decade, and I was always thinking throughout that decade, while I was having fun, there's all these other things, just starting to get into coffee and photography and headphones and just speakers and watching all these movies that came out throughout all that time that I never got a chance to watch. But after the first 12 months, I just realized that none of it is as fun as.
In 2011, Steve launched a startup called Avos Systems with his co-founder Chad Hurley. Avos was an incubator for startups. Avos Systems stood out from the rest by using a readily made base of APIs and code snippets. This allowed its entrepreneurs to create websites and iOS apps faster. They would create many websites with the same shared technology. One startup that gained traction through the Avos incubator was Mixbit. Mixbit was a video sharing service similar to YouTube, but it allowed allowed users to edit videos and focused on bringing video sharing to mobile. Mixbit was similar to Vine, where you could post 16-second videos on mobile. Avos would shut down eventually, but not before spinning out Mixbit and handing it over to Chad Hurley so he could take over the operations, which we all know by now completely failed. Steve Chen left his co-founder to go work as a consultant for Google Ventures.
Got back into starting a company, and so that's what I'm doing now. I went back to Google Ventures, as an entrepreneur in residence for about 18 months and got the support from Google Ventures.
Around that time, Steve also created a startup for food lovers. He started a live cooking website called Norm Labs. It failed to get enough traction to survive. They shut it down in 2017. Aside from his day job, Steve found time to teach an Audacity course. There was even a time when he promoted an NFT startup because the founders were ex-employees of YouTube.
My excitement over blockchain, admittedly, is not from any hands-on prior experience working with it. On the theoretical side of things, it certainly makes sense. There is a Herculean hurdle to overpass to be able to really deploy this to the masses. Having worked with this team at YouTube before, I have no doubt that this team is the team to be able to take on these challenges.
Steve's time at Google Ventures would come to a close within a couple of years. He went back to the country of his birth, Taiwan, where he stayed with his family ever since. After some time, Steve Chen has resurfaced. This time, he's teasing a new startup in Taiwan. Not much is known about it yet, only rumors.
Taiwan's not lost. I think at the high level, there's still plenty of opportunity and potential for global companies to come out of Taiwan. Really, as if we were trying to create a company in Silicon Valley for the global market. I think it is possible to do from Taiwan. But over the course of the last year, trying to do it myself, I found myself almost exploring much of this journey without a lot of predecessors in front to follow. It doesn't seem that there have been that many attempts from day one for entrepreneurs.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more videos like this one.